Well, guys, I am trapped in my own apartment. Even though it is the second day of spring, it is snowing like mad out there. The federal government, all the federal government office buildings shut down, which meant I didn't have to go into work, but I'm bored out of my mind, and I'm trying to figure out something to do, so I figure I might as well knock this video out while I have the time on my hands. Now, originally, I planned for this video to be my second edition of What Went Wrong. I'm probably going to post that sometime tomorrow, but given current events in pro wrestling, I feel like this takes precedence over that, and I just got to knock this sucker out before getting into some of my more specialty videos. So, current news, couple of big things happened this week. We had the Ultimate Deletion on Raw, and I definitely want to talk about and review that match. Since I am somebody that followed the Broken Universe in TNA, I have a certain perspective on it that I want to bring into it and compare it to WWE's equivalent of what they attempted to do on Monday Night Raw. And even bigger than that, it broke yesterday that Daniel Bryan has been medically cleared to wrestle and he will be returning to the ring. Yes! Yes! Yes, Daniel Bryan is back, and I'm really happy for the guy. You know, this is a guy that clearly loves what he does, loves his profession, loves the art form, and you could tell it was kind of killing him that he couldn't be a part of it. Now, and it was just baffling to wrestling fans because a lot of doctors had cleared him previously, but WWE just wouldn't allow it, just would not allow him to get into the ring with all the injuries he had suffered. But some wrestling fans were baffled by it, and I guess it's WWE's prerogative. You know, if they're concerned for his well-being, then, you know, they don't want to put him out there. But apparently things have changed, and Daniel Bryan is now back into the fold, and he's going to be stepping back into the ring. And it looks like, based on the way SmackDown played out last night, it's going to be Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, which I think is a perfect match to bring Daniel Bryan back into the fold in a wrestling capacity. You know, it's part of the build-up to what's been going on SmackDown for seemingly forever. I feel like Shane and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have been at it since, like, September of last year, for better or worse. And Owens and Zayn are two guys that Bryan's worked with in the past. He's familiar with their work. I assume there's a lot of trust there. So it's a tag match, so Daniel Bryan doesn't have to do that much. So it's easier to ease him back into the fold. So I think that's a good match for him to do, assuming that that's what they're going to do. I'm just making assumptions because of the way SmackDown played out, but I think it's going to be a nice attraction for WrestleMania to have Daniel Bryan back. I think fans are going to be excited to see him work again, and it's good. Good for him. I mean, good for him. And it helps boost the WrestleMania card a little bit, at least in terms of intrigue. And it's like, ooh, Daniel Bryan's back. That's something I want to check out. That's a nice attraction. And honestly, they could have signed Daniel Bryan versus the Boogeyman, and even I would have been like, yeah. I just want to see Daniel Bryan work. At this point, I'm not expecting a 5-star classic or anything. It's just, can we get him back? Yes. All right, I'm there. I'm going to pretty much like it no matter what he does. As long as he still looks like Daniel Bryan and still works like Daniel Bryan, I think it'll be good. Now, after this, what is his wrestling schedule going to be like? I don't know. That's something we'll just have to wait and see. One match that they absolutely have to do is Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. I'm a little surprised they didn't. I don't know when they knew Daniel Bryan was going to come back, but if they knew months ago that they were going to do this, I'm a little surprised they didn't just do Daniel Bryan versus The Miz, given their history and the promos they were cutting on each other, the Talking Smack segment where Miz cut like the promo of his career, all sorts of things. I think that would have been a great natural story to do. But I don't know how long they've known that Daniel Bryan was going to be working at WrestleMania, so who knows. So I think the tag match, which seems very likely, is fine, and I think it's going to be a good match to have. Moving forward from there are bigger and better things they can do with Daniel Bryan, namely that match with The Miz. I think that's if they do that sometime in summertime, or even if they want to save it all the way for WrestleMania 35, it's a match worth doing, and I would like to see both of those guys get a spotlight match at WrestleMania, so, or any major pay-per-view for that matter. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to seeing Daniel Bryan back. So, yeah, super happy for him. Congratulations, Daniel, and welcome back. And here's hoping that you do well. And all I ask is that you stay safe and just be you, man. That's I don't know, maybe Daniel Bryan styles, be safe and be you are two different things, but, take it easy. You don't need to do suicide dives every single match. You don't need to do a flying headbutt every single match. I think you've reached a point in your career where fans will just be happy to see you, and I'm not saying use that as a way to rest on your laurels. I'm saying there are certain moves you don't have to do if you're worried about your physical health. There are... as long as you can do your trademark stuff and you can still work, fans will be happy. You don't need to, again, no diving headbutts and no suicide dives. You don't need to do that. But, yeah, that's some great news. We're getting Daniel Bryan back. Super excited about that. Also, like I said, I do want to review the final, not the final deletion, the ultimate deletion. Like, the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, so this was the main event of Monday Night Raw. They actually closed Raw with this, which I think was a good idea, considering the tape nature of it and the fact that the live audience for Raw didn't get to see it. So, it probably made the most sense to just close with that and be done with it. Now, before I talk about the match at all, I did not see this upon my live viewing of Raw because I was just coming out of the bathroom, and I just must have missed it, but Michael Cole basically telling the audience that the match sucked and apologizing for it is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen an announcer do, ever. And, I don't know if that's a Vince thing, I don't know if that's a Michael Cole thing, I have no idea. But, to me, it's really stupid that you have this match that you've been building up and promoting for 2 weeks. You've been promoting it throughout the show. You're making it the star attraction of the show. And then right before it happens, you apologize and tell everyone it sucks. It's like, dude, what if... Okay, because what if that drove the audience away? What if people watched it and it didn't suck, then they're just going to come back and attack you? For it's like, why are you telling us this thing sucks when it's great? Various other things. It's, you run the risk of... I'm not saying it would be a disaster on par with, like, Shivani saying, oh, that'll put butts in seats or whatever, but it was something that it felt like the announcer was acting out of the company's best interests, and I don't understand why you would do that. And I felt bad for Matt and Bray. It's like, look, this is something that they put together, and the lead announcer is telling the entire audience that it's garbage. And it's like, wow, really, dude? Okay. I mean, it's the announcer's job to highlight the positives, do your best to hide the negatives, and promote the show and try to put it in the best light possible. Sometimes, I mean, you can't do that. It's like putting lipstick on a pig, but, like, I mean, if the Shockmaster happened on Raw next week, I mean, I don't know how any human being alive could save that, but I mean, this match hadn't even aired yet, and he's telling people that it's garbage. So to me, that's just a bizarre business choice. And I'm going to assume it was a Vince idea because, Vince McMahon. But, man, I was like, wow, that was a really dumb thing to do. But anyway, talking about the match itself. Like I said, I watched all the broken Matt Hardy stuff in TNA. I watched the Final Deletion. I watched Delete or Decay. I watched The Great War. I watched Tag Team Apocalypto and the Total Nonstop Deletion show that they did. I enjoyed the stuff. It's one of those things, you either like it or you don't. And the Ultimate Deletion's not going to change your mind. If you don't like the outside of the arena, cinematic, weird, off-the-wall, crazy B-movie type of wrestling match, which I guess is a new thing now. I mean, there have been matches without a live audience before, like the Boiler Room Brawl at SummerSlam 96, and the Hollywood Backlet Brawl at WrestleMania 12, and the Empty Arena match at the Super Bowl 1999 Halftime Heat show. So there's been various matches kind of cut from that cloth. It's just the broken or woken Matt Hardy stuff really takes it to the extreme and just is on a whole nother level. And it's almost like its own style and its own unique way to present professional wrestling. And like I said, you're either going to like it or you don't. Personally, I like the debate that it causes. Like, I don't know. I like it when audiences are able to debate about the pros and cons of various expressions of the art form. Instead of, like, worrying about ratings or attendance figures or, like, for some reason, like, fans like to bicker about, like, the business side of things. I'm like, who cares about it? Like, we're fans. Why do we care about how much money they make? I guess, I mean, that's not, like, my driving force for why I like something. I don't like things just because it drew money. If anything, like, I've seen in movies and television, I've seen completely stupid things get high ratings and draw a ton of money. And it's like, that doesn't make it artistically good, and that doesn't mean I like it just because it's popular for whatever dumb reason. You know, Jerry Springer, Twilight, Jackass, various other things that were popular. Have no idea why. Don't get it. I still don't get it. Although Jackass 3 was funny just because you could tell they didn't want to do it anymore. And there's like this internal struggle. It's like, I want the money, but I don't want to be doing this to my body anymore. And that made Jackass 3 funnier than the old Jackass stuff, which was just a bunch of white people acting like dumb white douches. But anyway, so I like the broken Matt Hardy stuff. I think I made it clear before. I have a warped sense of humor, so anything that's a little crazy and just off the wall and just psychotic like that, I kind of dug it. And I did a video showing my reaction to the final Deletion back when it aired, and I was having a blast. I'm like, this is the most insane thing I've ever watched in pro wrestling. This is great. I mean, this is. You got Jeff Hardy doing swantons out of trees. You got them shooting fireworks at each other and all sorts of wacky shit. It was just a really, really weird and crazy match. And all the other broken Matt Hardy matches that followed were very similar and kept adding new things to it to make it work and help each one have its own identity. Now, the Ultimate Deletion, which is WWE's take on it, it's my understanding that the reaction to it from the fan base has been largely positive, which is good to see. I feel like this type of thing, if you're going to do the broken/woken Matt Hardy character, these are the type of things you need to do with it, because that's how it got over. Again, regardless of whether or not you liked it, things like King Maxwell and Senor Benjamin and Rebby playing the piano and talking to the reincarnation of George Washington, who's a giraffe, or the lake of reincarnation. Which, by the way, I do want a map of the Hardy compound with all those places labeled, like what was the Land of Obsolete Men, the Lake of Reincarnation, the Dome of Deletion, and various other things. I would love to have like an actual map of the Hardy compound, just for my own, sick shits and giggles, but. So them doing all that stuff is the type of things like, yes, this is what this character needed, because it was almost like this character existed in a universe outside of whatever wrestling program he's on. Like the broken Matt Hardy stuff was almost like a separate brand or entity from TNA, and it should be that way in WWE, and it's not, and it hasn't been up to this point. It's just Matt Hardy acting weird and laughing all the time. And this is the first time that they've really kind of gone out there with the woken character. And yeah, I popped for certain things. I popped to see Senor Benjamin and Rebby and King Maxwell and the Lake of Reincarnation and various other things. So I Vanguard 1 I marked out for, Skarsgård I marked out for, all of that stuff. But it played up. If you had seen the previous stuff, this felt like a, hey, remember that? Oh, we did that too. Oh, hey, look, we're doing that too. And it didn't really have enough of its own to really stand on its own. And it wasn't really that crazy compared to the other ones. Again, I'll compare it to Tag Team Apocalypto, which was the last one they did before the Hardys left TNA. They had an earthquake. They had, like, explosions. They had cherry pickers where the Rock and Roll Express got stuck on the cherry pickers. And all this other weird shit. And this one just kind of felt ordinary. It just kind of felt like they took a Bray Wyatt Matt Hardy match and just shot it in a really, in a different way. And it wasn't really that weird on its own, at least not compared to the previous Broken Matt Hardy matches. I guess the weirdest thing they did, or the coolest thing they did, was Vanguard 1 activating the boomstick sequence where, he set off all the fireworks. But again, it wasn't quite as crazy as the Final Deletion or Tag Team Apocalypto or the Great War. It just kind of felt like... this felt like it could have almost been a normal match. Which is not what you want these to be. You want these to be out there and crazy and weird and almost like you're stepping into a different world. That said, it had its entertaining moments. I'm not saying it was a complete waste of time, and fans seem to like it based on the reaction that I'm hearing. So I don't know if it's going to make WWE want to do more of these in the future, but I definitely think there's room for improvement, and I think there's room to do this better. But this is coming from somebody that watched the previous matches and enjoyed those, and was kind of hoping for something a little bit crazier out of this. For first-time viewers who have never experienced the Broken Universe before, this was something that was a little different, a little weirder, and they seem to like it. So maybe it'll serve as like a foundation to do these type of things in the future. I don't know, but what I will say is that I didn't think it was a disaster, and I think Cole saying that it sucked right before it aired was a bit premature. But anyway, so Bray Wyatt got thrown into the Lake of Reincarnation, so I wonder if he'll come back as Husky Harris now, or if this is a way to like reinvent the Bray Wyatt character, or write off the Bray Wyatt character, because that character's dead. That was the other problem with this, is that that character is so far beyond any attempted repairs that I don't even know why they put him on TV anymore. It's just that the Bray Wyatt character's been almost completely ruined. Those are basically my thoughts on the Ultimate Deletion. Didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either, and I kind of liked the previous Broken Matt Hardy stuff more. But who knows? Maybe this will give WWE a little bit more faith in the character and let Matt just kind of go off the handle and do all this crazy shit all over again. But, so Ultimate Deletion, it was something that happened. It was certainly something that happened. But what do you all think? Did you all enjoy the Ultimate Deletion? Have you seen the previous Broken Matt Hardy matches? Let me know down below in the comments. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notifications when my new videos are posted. And continue to have fun. And if you live on the East Coast, stay safe, because it's still snowing out there, and it's cold as hell, and everything is just awful. They're actually... my apartment building is actually shutting down my water tomorrow morning. I'm like, oh dear God. If work gets canceled tomorrow, I'm going to be stuck here without water. It's like, ugh. But anyway, that's all I have for you now. Be on the lookout for upcoming videos. I've got my next What Went Wrong coming out tomorrow, and another WrestleMania MVP, LVP on the way as well. So a lot of stuff coming this week. But that's all I have for you now. Y'all enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you all later.